Guys, apologies about the round 2 game. Potato Boys versus Gravity Eggs is underway. Unfortunately, we cannot bring you that game. Instead, we've gone straight to this one. Even though the picks and bans say Potato Boys and Gravity Eggs in your stream, it is not that. It is Alt Under Control versus I'll Give It To You. Expect that to be changed soon. Now, some interesting things about this game, the reason we brought you this one, because we can't bring you the other one, is that Alt Under Control just defeated Aquila in round 1. They also beat Stolen Glory in round 2, and now in round 3, they're up against a team called I'll Give It You, which is made up of Frezzy, Darza, Sanjo, Ninja Boba, and Vastrakal. Some big name players once again seen in the scene a lot. Checking out All Under Control, they're not one of the teams that you recognize off. Their names don't roll off the tongue.
So Aquila has been trying out some role changes, and didn't work out too well for them. Beating Aquila.
The Unicorn build doesn't work in jungle. That's what they found out, right?
I could have told you that.
Well,
but
we get the memo.
You know, All Under Control beating Aquila under any circumstances is still pretty impressive. So
for sure,
this team, you know, they could end up going places. Will be first picking that Sylvanas, and on the other side, hovering onto Apollo and Ra. A little early to pick an ADC. Gonna switch to Kali.
Yep, Kali.
We have seen Kali ADC before, but you know, unlikely. And there's the Apollo on the other side. Look at that. Apollo's
all
everywhere.
Control. Yep, All Under Control looking at Apollo and Agni right now. But they're going to be the choices locked in for them. We don't see much Agni nowadays, Crap. Why? Why?
Agni is like Thor. He just goes in and out of the meta on a whim. Really good, though.
Rama, though, going to be locked in response to the Apollo pickup, so both of them grabbing Hunters before the ban phase means that we'll probably see some focus from Gravity Eggs onto the jungler and Potato Boys onto the support. Sorry, Potato Boys. I call them Gravity Eggs as well. Damn you, Moji and production, for letting this happen. All Under Control on the left, and I'll Give It You on the right. I'll Give It You probably will look at trying to ban out a jungler here, I expect.
Leave production alone!
No.
You're smelly.
They have one job. One job of typing the correct name in to the boxes. One job. That's all we ask of them, guys.
They have more than
job.
Really? They have more than just one job.
One job.
But all right. You're still smelly. You're still smelly. We can agree on that. All Under Control. Gonna ban out Athena in the counterban phase. Frezzy has a lot of gods in his pool, so it's not really taking anything away from him. It's just what Potato Boys don't want to deal with. Cabrakan hover. I would love to see some Cabrakan.
Me too. Me too. I mean, Cabrakan has a really good matchup against Sylvanas, technically speaking, just because he is root immune during his one. So Sylvanas can't actually do anything to peel him off. Quite surprising. And obviously, if you pull Cabrakan into you, you don't really want a Cabrakan in your face.
Yeah,
it's not
you
a decision
really
you're going to want to make. So, like, I think Cabrakan could be a viable opportunity against Sylvanas, but they've got to choose with Gab. Not a surprise there. Bastet being hovered over here right now by Control Alt.
You know, pulling Cabrakan and Geb, to that matter, is a little funny because they're just like, "Hey, you engaged for me. Let me just use my ultimates and stuff. Let me just start this fight. Thanks for putting me in a good position." Bastet and Aphrodite, however, switching to Loki, but we are going to see Bastet in the jungle, which is a skill pick, right? Like, Bastet's a good character. She doesn't pack CC. She has some slows, but no hard CC. Her clear is okay, but it's all just about outplaying your opponents, so I'm excited to see what All Under Control can do with that. Zhonghui, last picked for the boys of I'll Give It Ya, and sort of the opposite. Zhonghui just does his thing.
I think the big thing here is for the boys of I'll Give It Ya, they need to get Sprint 2 online for Ra and Zhong relatively early, just to deal with Bastet's cats, because when those slows do apply, it's a potential for a lot of setup damage. The one thing I like about Bastet and Loki being locked in here, Craig, is the fact that when Bastet starts to fall off to an extent in terms of her burst damage, is when Loki comes online in terms of his, so it will go backwards and forwards quite nicely. But guys, there are the teams on paper right now. We'll be right back once we do get into this game with the match for you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to this round 3 match. Alt Under Control. The underdogs coming into this game have defeated Aquila already in the first round, surprisingly enough, and they're going to be up against today. I'll give it to you, representing a random bunch of shenanigan high-level players. Frezzy going to be playing support Geb, Sanjo in mid as Ron, and Jabobat in the jungle as Carly, Darz in solo lane as Jean-Kui, and Vasterkal is going to be playing Arama. What have we got on the side of All Under Control though, Crap?
All Under Control, you got your boy Dark Dodo in the solo lane as Loki in the jungle. It's Pakiza on Beset in the mid lane, Max on Agni, Geb roll Robin on Sylvanas. They have found Geb, won't kill him.
It's Geb.
They'll poke him down. Yeah. There's not enough people to catch him. And Shaban playing your ADC Apollo.
I love the fact that Frezzy there didn't panic. Like a lot of players in that situation will take rollout, you know? And they'll be like, no, I'm going to die, rollout. And potentially die because of it. Instead, he just shockwaved and went, peace. I'm safe. I'm certainly fine. He has gone for multi-potion start though, which means that he wasn't planning on going back to base. So that trip back to base there probably frustrated him a little bit, just because he wanted to get some extra health and mana back after the start of this game. Mid-camp's going to be started evenly though. Go on, what were you going to say?
So his multi-potion start is, it's going to give him a little bit less sustain overall than Sylvanas, especially because Sylvanas literally has sustain. And actually a mid-camp steal coming through. This is guaranteed. You just walk up, hog it, and you're good, head to lane, and that's going to put Vasterkal behind on Rom. So with the multi-pots, Frezzy he just has less sustain than his opponents.
On the right-hand side, Ninja Boba going to get rid of the blue buff. They're going to actually steal that one away and give it over to Loki, so that's going to put Darza behind over in this lane as well. So, early on pressure coming out from Control, and this is good decision-making from them so far.
It is Ninja Bobat, only level 1 now, taking a little bit of poke from that Uzi from Pakiza. In terms of lane clear, in the solo duo, I'll give it you, will have an advantage. And, actually, Alt Under Control, they've managed to get their blue buff as well as the mid camp. They're very far ahead in this duo lane.
Well, right-hand side, Bobat's going to come out and just look to farm the wave, hit the lash out. They're not necessarily far ahead though, are they, Craig? I mean, in fairness, normally it's red side that are normally the ones that have the lead standardly, but this is a sort of lead you'd see from the other side, you know? So it's not the first thing. Oh, wow. Darza just found a kill. That's actually really, really big considering that they were behind in this lane in the beginning. Now they're going to be able to invade the blue buff as well, because Bobat and Darza are both going to be able to rotate around there. Loki can't do anything about this.
Yeah, that was just a complete flub from Bastet, jumping in and then jumping back to a horrible position, getting killed on the way. And when Kali is able to participate in the first blood on the enemy jungler, your game is going to be rough. Ninja Bobat should be able to take things over right quick.
Well, Loki doing a bit of damage onto this Jean-Kui. Good body block with the decoy there to put even more burst damage out, but he'll heal most of that back up thanks to the exorcism as well. He should be fine to just sustain back up in that lane. Going to be a little bit careful though, he's out of potions now. Checking in with Duo, bit of poke backwards and forwards between the two, but the wave clear as expected, going in favour of Apollo and Sylvanas at the beginning of this one.
In the duo lane, Apollo and Sylvanas, as you said, do have that push advantage, and they're looking pretty good. Vasterkal actually going to take a fair amount of damage here, will have to roll. And actually an oddly inefficient red buff clear coming out from Ninja Bobat there with his raw partner.
Oh, he's just not going to give any experience over to Sanjo at all?
No, there's the heals, the experience is given, but generally what you do is you leave middle lane, kill red, kill the back harpies, and then the mid laner comes back and picks up red, which means that you effectively have the red buff for longer in lane. It buys you about 10 seconds, and it's also just a little bit of a faster route, so it's strange to see that they didn't do that.
Both junglers have back to base right now. Mid camps are spawning soon. Bobat should hit level 5 off this minion wave in the middle lane. He should do. Yep, there he goes. Right, so both Harpies are now going to get contested by both teams. Geb Sylvanas on the way round. Left hand Harpy's going to be contested. Sylvanas needs to watch himself because the snipe is available and Bobat's there.
It's actually going to be a gank on the left-hand lane. A lot of players coming to bail out Vasterkal, who is losing in that 1v1 down to just 6 health Apollo's gonna ult. He's not gonna go for the kill, but he knows he's won. That's a morale victory.
And what he does is he actually buys controlled time to actually take away those left-hand harpies, the most contestable ones. And now they're going to rotate for the right ones as well. Bastet does not have Hog available for another 10 seconds. Agni needs to watch a position here, but you can see Carly jumping in, trying to get those ones away. The burst onto Bobat is good, but he's going to have the sustain from Ra. Snipe does not connect. Cats get
good. Cat block! Cat block!
He's got ult.
Oh my
ult.
god, the RNG. It doesn't matter.
Loki assassinates in the one to Ra, doesn't chase after Bobat, who's still alive, going to get away to safety. Meanwhile, Loki does not find the kill onto Ra, so it's a 1-0 exchange as Rezzy was taken down, I believe, in the left-hand lane. Ra in mid, though.
Oh, yeah, in mid lane, a little bit more pressure on Ra. He will have to recall, but let me explain the cat block really quick. Now, what happens is when the cats are dropped, if somehow you end up in the middle of all 3 cats, they lock in a triangle around you, and there's no way you can move out of it. It's effectively RNG in that there's no real way to guarantee it, though good players can drop the cats in such a way that it's more likely. But when that happens, it's absolutely huge because it turns 10 seconds of damage and slow into 10 seconds of damage and complete body blocking.
Well, those mid camps did go in favor of control on the right as well, so they got both mid camps a kill as well. So not all doom and gloom for them. Control looking very good at the start of this one, thanks to the early invaders coming out. They're not going for the blue buff invade of the right this time round though. Carly and Zhong should be able to pick that one up nice and safe as the remnants of control just start to clear out their own jungle. Only a couple of camps available right now. Bit of a lull in action. It's a shame Loki didn't go on Carly though, because that should have been a confirmed kill.
Yeah, I think they thought it was a confirmed kill anyway, so not dying there somehow is Ninja Bobat just thanking his lucky star, I suppose. Still, I mean, all under control, I think they're doing fairly well in this early game, have managed to find a little bit of a gold advantage, and a lot of an experience advantage as well, just because of how many players they've sent back. So, well, things are looking good for them.
It kept him busy for the time being, and now you're just going to see Agni farm up mid lane. Bastet hanging around this right side because blue buff is available, but meanwhile, in the jungle, Boa going to get caught out of position a little bit there. Doesn't have to worry too much, this is only Sylvanas. And he did a good job of living earlier, but he's going to jump away from that bomb coming out from Agni one more time. And blue buff gets taken on the right.
Yeah, blue buff on the right will go down to that soul lane. Loki, who has his Heartseeker done and has begun stacking up to 15 stacks fairly soon. Actually, not fairly soon. Already, he should be pretty much full clearing, and so Darzer doesn't have too much counterplay up against Dark Dodo now. It's just really the ball's in Loki's court. He can do whatever he wants.
Well, it's a farm off lane, isn't it, realistically? They should both be relatively able to clear very, very soon. Dodo, though, going to try to abuse the the proxy wave farming, but he was a little bit too late to that wave, and I'm going to have to vanish out. Left-hand Harpy's due to spawn, though. They've just come up. Bobat's in position. Ruben's going to try and contest, but they're already down. Nice damage coming out, followed by the ultimate from Ruben as well. Cataclysm in response. Bobat jumps over the wall. Apollo comes crashing down with it across the sky, forcing the ultimate out. So beautiful. Was just a little bit too late to
the DOT.
He could ult out. But the dot, will it bring it down? No, he will not, but Loki's there. Loki's going to go in. And he will find the assassinate. Darza late on the rotation, but how can you know that Loki's rotated unless it's too late? Mid camps on the right are available, and they're going to be started by control here. Jean can't really do anything against this. They would pick him if he does go for it. Good rotations from control again. They're looking very, very crisp and clean today.
Yeah, they are, and those kills on Bobat, the pressure on Bobat is absolutely necessary. He needs to die
Darza.
Over and over.
Darza's going to get caught in position here as the cast do get dropped onto him as well. A good stun landing, but for how long will he survive? Not long enough is the answer. And Dodo finds himself a second kill on this Loki. 37 stacks on that right now. He should have enough for Warrior Tabby when he goes back to base. And that's going to be issues as Loki. Big Loki's a dangerous thing.
He is in the dual lane. Rom is behind Apollo. Still should go to Rom, hypothetically, but it's still going to be a tough matchup on the right-hand side. Bobat and Loki facing off, but Dark Dodo sitting up now 4 levels. Not really going to have too much trouble contesting Bobat.
Yeah, he's a really big rebel. The interesting thing is, what will he do with his actives now that he's got the lead? Will he go for the teleport strategy and try and influence the fights, or will he just take beads and wait and see what he wants to do with his second active?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like the way he rotated to that first fight, I don't think he needs to teleport. I think he's good enough at rotations that he could just walk over and be fine.
I mean, at the same time, though, keeping Darza pinned in lane is very, very important. That was a nice stomp from Darza at the last second there, just catching Loki's was coming in. Speed buff is available right now. It's coming up. It's flashing on the side of get it. Sorry, I'll give it to you, rather. The speed buff is available, but the ward has just been dropped down by Control, so they're looking to contest this one with Loki, with the help of Bastet as well. They know they're starting it, but Dars is aware something's up here. So Loki going to eat a little bit of poke damage from a card, and with Dars to support here, this could be an interesting contest between the two. Decoy's going to force it over to one side. Bastet jumps in, but a nice stun. Make sure the speed goes in favor of... I'll give it to you.
Yeah, well played by them. In the middle lane, Agni against Ra. Such an old school matchup. Sandro seems to be coming out on top. He's ahead in experience, and Jungler just seems to be taxing mid a little bit less. Frezzy, not really going to get caught out here. Looks like Agni's not going to go for that.
Right side though, Bastet going aggressive for this blue buff again. Ninja Boba takes a lot of poke damage there. Has to give up this blue buff. Denying that one from Daza in this lane. Daza needs to watch it. Actually pops Sprint preemptively there. Oh, left hand side, we've got an engagement going on as well as they invade blue. They don't manage to find it though. Where's Frezzy going?
The invade actually is going to be successful. I believe blue's onto Apollo, yeah.
Crazy prices. Loki's going to go aggressive in mid lane with the help of Bastet as well. Sanjo's in a lot of trouble here. The shield is very, very important there. Followed by the Hog to make sure the cats did not do any damage to Sanjo. So Sanjo survives. Frezzy made a big play then. It may have been underestimated how good he actually was there because Hog plus that shield were perfectly timed.
Yeah, a Raw snipe generally just Sanjo trying to bail himself out, which is fine. Raw's actually, for a healer that relies on mobility to survive, he's not as bad against the as you might think. Kali coming in from the back side.
And now we can see the damage going in as Ninja Boba goes deep, looking for this big one to Loki, gonna find it, was the target. Now she's gonna turn the attention onto this Agni, who's dropping very, very low. Finds that one too, but he just goes down as a casualty. Dars is gonna drop here as well, as this gets turned into a 2-for-2 trade, and it looks like Control them as it continue the pressure.
Yeah, good rotation from Apollo there, able to take advantage of his global presence, and that 2-for-2 is just gonna sort of make things even, scratch that slight advantage for all under Control as they will be able to take the right mid camps.
All Control looking very good. One of the reasons, like, they did beat Aquila today. Aquila were playing mixed up roles, let's be fair to them, but for them to be able to come up against a team of their caliber and do so well, Control are in a very good position right now, and they're really showing why they managed to beat them.
They are, and now, yeah, I think a big part of it is coming out of this Bastet pick and the way Packers is playing it, which is quite proficiently. Loki unfortunately did go down there, I believe. Was that his death? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Loki died. So
he's gonna have to stack up a little bit more. But Dark Dodo sitting at level 12 does have potential to take over this game. Will be going for the teleport, though probably not getting too much use out of it until it is rank 3.
Yeah, it's generally that's when you really get the most use out of it. It'll be more for teleporting levels. Although what he could do with it, Cret, is he could rotate without using the teleport and then come back to tower to make sure he doesn't lose any farm. At the same time as, you know, he can push that in. If Darza rotates as well, he can go back and push that tower down himself. So a little bit of counterplay available in the early ranks of the teleport, but more proficiently seen used effectively in the late stages.
Loki is rotating a little bit, just seeing if he can find anything in the jungle. Going for the proxy clear here, yeah, and that's going to give him a lot of time to rotate now. It's only a single big minion moving forward that will die rather quickly, and so now that Dark Dodo has bought himself a fair amount of time, pushes what will he be able to do with it.
He was looking for an opportunity in mid lane. They might still look for this one. Going to change their mind though because Bobat is there. Bastet wasn't in position yet. Left hand side though, bit of aggression once again onto Frezzy, who's taking a bit of poke damage. The ultimate comes out as well. Bastet has rotated over here and Frezzy's very, very low. Going to go down to the So Beautiful, and now Ram is in trouble too. Fastrical surrounded by the cats again. Has to take to the sky. He's dead when he lands. Or can Sanjo save the day with Bobat? That is the question on my lips. So Beautiful comes out. It's enough to bring him down, but now Apollo's put out taking tower shots. Snipe from Sanjo does bring down Bastet, and Bobat should be able to back away. Has to force the ultimate though. Loki's coming round. Loki might find Bobat here. He's going to have the assassinate available.
It's pretty much guaranteed. I don't. Well, yeah, the recall's gonna be good. He's not gonna go in with the assassinate for that, but it's just going to be a gold fury. Ninja Bobat getting gold enough that he was as good as dead, wasn't able to fight, so not here to contest the gold fury. Darzer could, but with a hog 3, now he's just sort of out of position. Looks like Control's gonna let him live. They don't want to go aggressive here. It would be a 4-on-3, so probably still a winning fight. Oh, assassinate in. Time to start at Aegis 3.
So there's a stun, and the bleed's going to be enough to bring him down. Darzer now re-engages. trying to use those demons to his advantage. He should be able to find Loki here as the last ticks come out. Cataclysm followed by Apollo ulting in. Means Dars is going to pay the price for at least his discretions. And now Frezzy caught out of position as well. Bobat's on his way in, but Frezzy's going to be dead before Bobat can even arrive. Very, very quick kills and very, very effectively in favor of controllers. They take 7,000 experience and 3,500 gold now.
Who are these guys? Because they are just... They're taking the textbook of how to play Smite, and they're beating Frezzy and crew over the head with it. They're just showing them what's up. This is beautiful play coming out from All Under Control.
I mean, I remember seeing All Under Control. The name has been around for a while, but I don't recognize these players as big-time players. I mean, no offense to them at all. It just shows that they've stepped up their game. They've managed to find their stride, and the synergy between this team is working out really, really well, Krat.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if they continue to play like this, we could see them in finals. We could see them in next year's World Championship. Not this year's, but maybe next year.
You mean
Dodo?
You mean 2016's, right? Because next year's is technically...
Listen, man, I don't do numbers.
I knew you didn't do numbers when you made up that stupid build of yours that everyone calls Unicorn. Frezzy going to roll in on the left-hand side. They'll get rooted out and eat some more poke once again. Shockwave comes out, but they're in a full minion wave, so they'll be fine for the time being. Still 10-5. Speed buff due up relatively soon, though, for Bastet, so keep an eye on them looking for the transition for that one and see if Bastet can make any use out of it. Loki, though, has finished Jotuns now, so he's got some more penetration, and he's going to be more and more annoying as time goes on.
Yeah, Loki is going to be real annoying. Has had his stacks reset twice, so not necessarily doing the best job of surviving after he gets his kills, but he is getting his kills, and that's more so what counts. Though when you have a Heartseeker, you do want to stay alive.
Yep, you do indeed, and he's going to continue trying to proxy farm this wave, but Dars is aware of this, and he's trying to stop it to the best of his ability. But in doing so, he's giving up farm to his own tower, trying to keep track of this Dodo, who's been a pain in the backside, and that's what a good Loki play should always do, be a pain. They're going to start grouping up mid lane here, looking to try and put some pressure on the mid, but left hand side there's a group from Carly going in for Sylvanas. Cataclysm comes out, they're actually focusing Apollo, who used the beat immediately and the sprint to get away, but now Robin's going to go out, or is he? Because he turns his attention back in as his team rotates in. Rom is in the sky, but when he lands he's in trouble.
Yeah, Rom in a lot of trouble, interrupted out of the roll with the assassinate, and will get picked off. There is no follow-up. Bastrikal is just dead. Sanjo on the backside with Max there as well. It's going to be a dead Frezzy for sure. He's just too far out of position on Geb. Not a very mobile character. The pull is huge on the Ninja Bobat. He does have his ultimate, so it's probably not going to mean his death. But he's not going to be able to do much more in this engagement. Darzer has shown up, but the left tower will go down, guaranteed.
That's the problem. Darzer has rotated, Loki has not. He will get the tier 1 tower on the right hand side. Left hand side will stand for a little bit longer, but Sanjo might be able to find Apollo. The dab jump in as well. So the teleport?
Yeah, Loki got the kill on the Bastrikal, remember? And then he teleports over to the right-hand side once he sees Darza rotating.
Of course.
Beautiful play.
And that's exactly what I said, that you can try and abuse if you get the opportunity to. I'm pretty good at this game sometimes. At least knowledge, not play. My mechanics are terrible.
Well, you also did invent Giannis Jungle.
I did invent Giannis Jungle. No, that was zeros, I'll be honest. 12-5, though. On the scoreboards, 9,500 experience lead for Control. Carly going to turn up and find out that right-hand copies have just been taken. 4,500 gold lead as well. 17 minutes in the game. It's not all doom and gloom, though, because they still have Jean-Qui, they still have Geb, and they still have Carly. This is not over from the side of I'll give it to you by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not over, but it's looking pretty grim as they are down 10,000 gold and 5,000 experience. Speed buff will go to Ninja Bobat, so no invades there. And honestly, if Alt Under Control has anything to work on, it is their invade game, which has been okay, but they could apply maybe a little bit more pressure. That left tower didn't go down. That is shocking.
Well, Sanjo did a really good job of defending that in all fairness. He managed to make sure Apollo stayed off it. Bastrikal's got to be a bit careful. He's still just below half, so it's going to take a few more waves. I think 2 or 3 waves to really clear that one up.
So there were 4 people there, and all they had to do to kill the tower was walk with all their 4 people to the tower and kill it. I think it's a decision to keep that tower up. Maybe it's not a decision, but it's still beneficial because Bastrikal, level 14 Rom, has to play at this tier 1 tower.
Oh, they're looking
He
for
is
pressure
obligated.
again. I mean, the Gold Fury is back online right now. The Sentry Ward has been placed. Bobat's looking to go aggressive, but it was already warded out. They knew he was coming in. The pull's not going to find Frezzy's rotating around the back with the rollout. Are they going to re-engage here is the question. Frezzy actually realizes they're not. But now Apollo's going to trade off with Vastrical. Vastrical going to just roll back to the tower, play it safe. But there's a big grouping from Control here as they try and steal away this blue buff over on the left-hand side. And Apollo gets a lot of free poke onto Vastrical as well, knocking him down to half health. The so beautiful hit, he could have died there.
Right, and so forcing Vastrical to defend this tower when he is so low level is just making this lane incredibly unsafe. Leaving the tower up has turned out to be very beneficial for Alt Under Control, and because of the poke onto Vastrical and the zoning from Agni, they should be able to get this gold for you. No, will reset it. Frizzy blinks in, but he's not going to find anything. Darzer knocked up, will be the target. Beautiful Apollo ult across the sky and getting a kill onto two. Ninja Bobat in the mix, but he's going to have to jump out. Vastrical can't do too much, and while the snipe was good, it was not enough. Hakuza will force the ultimate, and now it's time to go.
Well, he won't pay for the price thanks to the backup of Agni. The three remaining members of Control are doing the Gold Fury. They're going to take that one down as well. What a nice fight for them. I think the big thing there was Darza came in to try and be the engage for the team along with Frezzy. But the problem was he's gone Warlock/second because, you know, he had to go boots against this Loki for the mobility of the, you know, transition across the map to follow him. And in doing so, delayed his Warlock Sash a little bit, which means that he's not got the stacks to be as tanky as he would like to be in that situation.
So I think the biggest thing there was that, well, yeah, he's not that tanky. Ooh, only 9 stacks. That's rough, yeah. Darzer and Frezzy grouped up. So when they came in, because they didn't really have, they don't have like matchups or anything yet, they took that Sylvanas ultimate to the face, got knocked up right next to each other, and set up a full Apollo ult. Level 19, so that's 145 base damage per tick. It hits 4 times, so you're talking like 600 damage before scaling.
4 level difference in the AD carry role right now between the two of them, so Vastrical's really up against it right now. Just has to farm and play relatively safe now, and just hope to scale into late game. I mean, last game we actually cast, it was like over 45 minutes where we did get to see full builds, and if we can see, I'll give it to you, get themselves back into this one, then late game, I mean, realistically late game, who would you give this to on paper? Not in terms of how the game is run right now.
I mean, on paper, I think it just goes straight to Alt Under Control.
Really? Over the Kali, Rama, and Zhong?
Oh, I mean, if we're not talking about like the gold lead and the experience lead.
Yeah, I meant just literally on paper, like if you can get late game, I still think I'll give it to you have the better late game composition. Although they got the split push of Loki Apollo.
The way this game should go on paper is Alt Under Control, get some early invade action, they have some early pressure, it's not that huge, their mid game is explosive, then in the late game, I'll give it you, comes back and wins. That's on paper because their late game is incredibly strong, and as long as they don't fall too far behind in the mid game, they should win. But they're almost too far behind in the mid game, and Loki is just, he's a big factor that can stop a lot of the late game because he can kill Kali.
He can kill people, and talking about killing people, Ruben's going to go in trying to steal away that buff. Going to get a nice pull onto Sanjo here, which pulls him out of position, so Apollo can follow up, and this level 20 Apollo's going to do a lot of damage. The Aegis is going to buy him some time to make sure the stun, but the stun wasn't used, and the ultimate comes out. Now the re-engage coming out here from I'll give it to you, but Doctor on the backside assassinates Vastrical in a second. Dawes is doing some okay damage, but only really Ruben is low, and with Dodo on the front line, they all have to back away as Bastet continues to push in mid lane, takes that tier 1 tower, and yet again, a nice, clean, decent fight coming out from Control.
So there's 2 things I want to mention. First of all, chin size on Apollo, so he's probably not going crit. Second of all, because of Bastet and Loki and the high penetration those characters build, along with what is probably going to be a unicorn build, the tower killing from Alt Under Control is absolutely massive. And usually the biggest downside is killing objectives like the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant, but with a Loki, that's a non-factor because of how much extra damage he gets from those backstabs. So this is a very nicely put together team composition. They've got a lot of different ways to end this game because they can kill structures just so fast. And they've got great zoning with Sylvanas.
I love Dodo's decision on this Loki as well. Instead of just going for the more damage, which is generally what you're doing, Loki, he's gone for the earlier Medjais just to make sure he has some escapability, some extra escapability as well as those beats 3 and that teleport. and the Assassinate and the Vanish to make sure he doesn't get picked off, so he never has a real hard chance of losing those stacks.
You can't honestly think you can take him, do you?
Yeah, he's gonna be hard to kill. I love this isn't gonna match us in the Loki build. The next question is he gonna finish his build with crit or with raw damage? Probably would like to see a Hydra's either way.
For the Hydra's, like, Hydra's Titan in Spain is how I'd like to see it rounded up. Although he doesn't really need the tower pressure, but then again,
it helps.
I mean, the crit's not really going to hurt Geb so much, but the penetration would.
Yeah,
even though Geb's not going to be his target, you know, it's just a wave. I always like to see that situation where if you're going to go for penetration against a Geb instead of going for crit.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the crit on Loki. I certainly understand it. It's just sort of like, the idea of Loki is you only get one attack off, so you have a 20% chance to crit, or you don't crit, right? It's like 20% chance versus an ADC, where it's like, yeah, you have a 20% chance, but you keep shooting. You're going to crit eventually.
Well, Apollo's push up this left-hand side again. Carly is in the rough area, but they'll have an understanding that she might be around thanks to the nice ward coverage. Very deep wards here coming out from Alt under control. You can see they've got wards all over. Red buff, speed buff, all the entrances and exits are really highly monitorized right now by them. So they've got full control of this map, and now they can start the Gold Fury because of that, and there's not a whole lot we can see coming out from I'll you can do about it.
The right-hand side, Dark Dodo playing that split push game as his team gets the Gold Fury, and that's really the power of Loki. He's just such an annoying split pusher, such a nuisance because he's an assassin. He's built to do 1v1, so whoever you send to stop him. Right now, I would assume, you know, you send Bastrical, and that doesn't work too well because Loki will eat Rom.
This is a big rotation to the right-hand side coming out from control. They were trying to catch Loki and Zhong, who were overextended there a little bit with the Loki teleporting in, but they didn't manage to find it, and so the aggression's turned round. Ninja Bobat going to get some nice damage off onto Agni, though, with the help of the cards, but now it's Zhong who gets pulled into this fight, and that's not necessarily the one you want to pull in, but he's creating confusion at the moment. Loki's still here as well with this Medjais. That's going to be burnt now. Apollo's in the sky, and with that wasted...
They can do fire. They can do fire.
Potentially, I mean, they're not at full enough health compared to the enemy team, though. And do you really want to do fire in this? I mean, you are ahead.
I think they had enough time to burn it. Because Frezzy rolled away, they could have burned it in 15 seconds, but it would have to have been... I mean, Apollo was in the air. They would have had to gone directly there, Apollo ulted, and kill it immediately.
I think it's too risky. Just because Frezzy still had Cataclysm available and Sylvanas does not have Medjais. Like, the steal potential is very, very likely. It's very, very risky.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would have gotten there. I think it would have died in the 10 seconds, 15 seconds it takes, just because you have so much auto attack damage. But either way, that was a call that, if it happened, had to be perfectly immediate, everyone, etc.
They made the decision to play it safe, which I think, you know, we'll see. Will it work out for them? It looks like they're going to start it now, though. Here we go, they're all full health, they're going to try and burst this one down. Once again though, remember what I said, Sylvanas does not have a measure. They're actually going to turn the aggression back in, look for some damage. The shield is onto Sancho. There's a weakening curse coming out as well, and it's Darza the one that's going to get caught out of position here, and evaporated in seconds. Dodo with the kill there, thanks to the help from Agni. Now they're going to go back to this one more time. Who's on zone duty is the question on everyone's lips. It's Agni that's going to be there with the help of Bastet 2. They're going to start bursting this one. No one's in a position, and now because they can see two in the right lane, and one of them being Geb with that Hog 3, it looks like, I'll give it to you, have to resign themselves to giving up that Fire Giant.
That was well played, and okay, so Kali's gonna get caught out here, might survive just because her ultimate's up. Yeah, she's out, she's good. They're gonna start pushing towers. That was a beautiful play because what they did was they engaged, they used Curse, which forces out Darzer's Heavenly Agility. Then they disengage, they back off, they start the Fire Giant to bait it out. Once Weakening Curse is back up, they re-engage. Weakening Curse, Darzer's still on cooldown with his Heavenly Agility, he's caught out, he dies. It's a beautiful play around active cooldowns. And maybe it wasn't intentional, but man, that was good.
Well, they might be able to get this tier 2 tower in the middle lane as well. The penetration from all these physical damage dealers paying work for them. Meanwhile, Bastet was just continuing to push in this right-hand side, keep Carly busy. They do take another time. They're going to immediately rotate for the tier 2 left. I think they might find some opposition on this one, though. This is a stand that they need to make right now. I'll give it to you. Expect to see Frezzy go in. Oh, will they?
Yeah, I think they're going to defend under Phoenix, if anything.
I guess they're just going to hold on the Phoenixes. I mean, we saw a Phoenix defense last game that ended up winning the team that game because they defended their Phoenixes so well, at least during the later stages. Good back decision coming out from Control, though. They're going to go back, buy the items with that 900 gold they just got from 3 tier 2 towers and try and finish off some of these items. You can see, look at that ward coverage that just got picked up by the whole team. 4 people with sentries, as well as some normal wards thrown in there for good measure as well. And nice, the question is, where do you siege first?
Left lane, ideally. The other thing to mention is that Loki recalled with 4,000 gold. 4,000 gold.
He's gone Titan's Bane and into the Hydras as well.
Yeah,
so.
he has gone.
Oh!
It's probably dead. Raw did auto attack, which is a lack of discipline, but a good decoy block. Gets the kill, killing with the decoy. Rarely see that. Dark Dodo is just destructive this game. I love high level Loki play.
Decoy play positioned really nicely there as well to actually body block the moment he got out. He had to juke around it, which also slowed him down because obviously sidestepping does lower your mobility a little bit. So just kept him a little bit slower than he would like to have been in that situation. So it's going to be a 4v5 now, and you can see the remaining members of Control going to abuse that man advantage by sending Apollo to the left-hand lane. 2 are going to group mid. Agni needs to be careful about this position though, a bit overly aggressive there, but obviously, you know, with beads and path, you feel safe enough. Bobat doesn't get hit by the Vanish though, as Dodo went in looking for it, does not find it, as Bastet continues to push Zhonga away. Zhonga now down to half health here, does need to watch himself. They're poking down this Phoenix right now, they've got minions as well, so there's no backdoors position. Frezzy blinks in at the same time as Darza gets hit by Loki. Loki was engaged on 5 round, but now the damage is real as Ruben bicycle onto Darza. You're going to have to see them jump away. Boba has to pop his ultimate, Frezzy's trying to live. Phoenix goes down.
Cats. Alright, he's alright.
Ah, it's okay. Fountain saves lives.
That was close, yeah. Mid Phoenix should fall here. Nice snipe, not quite gonna connect it. Pikuza did dodge it, but that meteor is huge. 1, 2, 3, they're gonna die real quick. Bobat with the DOT ticking. We'll send him back to the base. He's gonna be okay. Loki does fall. It doesn't matter. Left Phoenix is gonna go down as well.
Looks like, yeah, the minions have pushed up on this one as well. They've got healthy enough to keep them all at bay as well. Agony with another stun again to keep Bobat away. Can Bobat make a kill though? He can manage to bring down the Bastet, but he'll pay with it with his life. Now only Vastrical alive for at least 14 seconds to deal with the onslaught of Control. This could be a small mistake. They've not got minions with them.
They don't have minions, and they might not have enough damage. As
they do.
Agni did use a lot of his kit, but yeah. So
what an end.
That's just one of the weird little intricacies with the Unicorn build, and it's also the nature of Agni. Agni, when he dumps everything, is probably the highest total damage mage outside of like Anubis, right? Or Zeus, who can auto attack with the double whatever. And then the Unicorn build, really bad against Goldfear, really bad against Fire Giant, but because you can't crit Titans, it's actually really good against Titans, as your non-crit auto attack DPS is higher than Crit's non-crit auto attack DPS. So they just sort of had like everything they needed to do the Titan at that point in terms of a composition standpoint. And Sylvanas definitely helpful because he's so tanky and does decent damage too with just auto attacks and stuff.
I mean, all under control in that game. They beat Aquila in round 1, which was a nice scalp to take, even though they're in different roles. Against that team there, I'll give it you. If you saw those names on paper, they're a really, really strong opposition. So for them to take those guys out, all under control looking good. Can they beat their next round opposition and try and make it to the finals? We'll find out soon, because we might be checking in with the upper side of the bracket. We'll find out how that's going on. But we'll be back shortly, guys, as soon as the guys are ready to go into picks and bans.